I have no idea why Thunder Force has been so poorly received, because I really enjoyed this film, and there was about 15-20 minutes in the middle, maybe towards the final third, that I didn't really enjoy, and I thought it was a bit dull and the pacing was a bit off. But the rest of the film I found a lot of fun. So I'm not going to spoil anything here, so you are safe to watch it. I'm not going to ruin it, but I do recommend it. It was released this year, directed by Ben Falcone, and also written by Falcone, and stars Melissa McCarthy and Octavia Spencer, as well as Jason Bateman. And this film is about two women who reunite after years apart, and they were friends as children, and they reunite to team up to become Thunder Force, two women who fight crime, one of whom has developed super strength, the other one is invisible. And these are not inherent superpowers. Emily, played by Octavia Spencer, has created the formulas to activate these superpowers. And that sounds like a really fun concept, and a lot of the film is setting up, and usually, maybe that's the problem actually, now that I'm thinking out loud, maybe the people watching this, because I'm not the biggest superhero fan. I love Batman, I love Shazam, I like the fun superhero films. I don't like the ones that are a bit darker and a bit more action focused. It does take a while for there to be any actual action, but that for me worked really well. A lot of it is setting up, testing the formula and making sure everything works, and then coming up with their superhero names. It's a lot of fun, and I really enjoyed that aspect, and I think a lot of it works because of the on-screen chemistry between Lydia and Emily, McCarthy and Spencer. The first 10 minutes or so of the film, though, actually shows us a very young Lydia and Emily, and then a kind of college-age Lydia and Emily, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. And I actually think the youngest Lydia, played by Vivian Falcone, was amazing, and I kind of wish there was a lot more of their younger selves in this. I think the casting was great. I really enjoyed those bits. It was a lot of fun, and a pretty great way to start off this film. And then when we get to the adults, and we get McCarthy and Spencer, and also Jason Bateman, it's still really interesting. The pacing, apart from the bit that I mentioned, which I'll say what bit it is in a moment, but I won't spoil it. The pacing is really good. The dialogue is great. It's something that I really, thoroughly enjoyed. And there wasn't really anything about it that I thought didn't work. The development of the narrative was brilliant. The costumes as well, the costumes are amazing. The fact that it takes a little while for the action to go anywhere, I think might be kind of contributory to why some people may not like it as much. But oddly, when it did become the most action-packed, I kind of lost interest. I thought the pacing was a bit all over the place, and the narrative was a bit sloppy. Jason Bateman's character, obviously Bateman himself is fantastic, but the character of the crab, I didn't like. I didn't like his backstory. I didn't think his interactions with Lydia were that interesting. I don't like the treatment of that character, and that's maybe another reason, if people agree with me, why it may not have been so well received. At the end of the day, I thoroughly enjoyed it. 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb is despicably poor. 34 Metascore. That's not very high at all for a Metascore. I really like Melissa McCarthy. I'm a big McCarthy fan. And I think this is one of her strongest films in a long time, and one of her most brilliant performances in a long time. Maybe if you're into action films and you watch a lot of superhero films, you had different expectations, but I was expecting a Melissa McCarthy film, and unquestionably, that is what I received.